Now that Donald Trump is the presumptive Republican nominee, his campaign has quickly shifted into general election mode. Now, not only has his rhetoric started to change, but also the way that he runs his campaign, specifically fundraising. He recently announced that he's building a finance operation that will try to raise money in order to beat whoever the Democratic nominee is in November. Now, he's planning for, of course, to go after Hillary Clinton. According to Bloomberg Politics, the finance team will seek to raise money for the Trump campaign directly, as well as under the auspices of a joint fundraising committee with the Republican National Committee, once both sides settle on the terms. He's going to make some deals, right? Now, in an interview with the Wall Street Journal, Trump had also said, quote, "I'll be putting up money, but won't be completely self-funding, as I did during the primaries." That same New York Times article also points out that, quote, "Mr. Trump is planning to use his expansive personal Rolodex to ensure his campaign has the resources to compete against likely Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton in November. The campaign is also beginning to work with the Republican National Committee to set up a joint fundraising vehicle. The super PAC backing Mr. Trump, meanwhile, is also seeking to ramp up its fundraising operation. Eric Beach, Great America PAC's fundraiser, said super PAC officials have received about 75 different calls, mostly from donors since Mr. Cruz exited the race Tuesday night. The group plans to add dozens of staffers to its payroll and will announce new members of its finance committee in the next weeks." But wait a minute. I thought Donald Trump thought super PACs were a disaster. I thought he'd never take money because once you accept money from large donors, you'll do whatever the hell they want. He said it. He said it in one of the debates. Well, if you give a politician money, they'll do whatever you want. I know, I gave money to Hillary Clinton and she came to my wedding. How great was that? Now the same guy who denounces that is going to be taking money from not only super PACs, but a joint fundraising committee, just like Hillary Clinton is. But see, he's doing this because he's out of the primary now, and he thinks he's going to take on the master of raising corporate and super PAC money, Hillary Clinton. So, of course, now he's safe to take millionaire and billionaire money. Trump is not anti-establishment. He's been bullshitting all of us all along. The only person that's ever been consistent on this issue and has refused to take big donor and super PAC money has been Bernie Sanders. But now it seems that a lot of people are basically settled on the idea that it's one Wall Street-backed one percenter versus another one percenter. Change? What you thought that we were actually going to get change with Hillary Clinton? No, of course not. If Clinton takes the nomination, then basically what we're going to have are two sides of the same wealthy one percenter coin, competing against each other in what's going to be one of the nastiest non-issue oriented campaigns in presidential history. And it's all going to be backed and soaked in donor money. Big donor, big dollar money. That's not good. According to the article in Bloomberg, Trump's senior advisors have been meeting with National Party officials this week to negotiate a joint fundraising committee, which would make it easier for big donors to give big money. Deputy Executive Director of the Campaign Legal Center, Paul Seamus Ryan, said, quote, "The fact of the matter is that if Trump's campaign committee participates in a joint fundraising committee, Trump is raising private funds because his committee will receive a portion of the funds raised by the JFC. To the extent that Trump is raising funds for a JFC, he is not self-financing. JFC money is all private donor money." Well, once again, what happened to him not being bought? What happened to him not taking big money? I guess once again, it doesn't matter now that he successfully won the Republican nomination. Trump's been lying his ass off the entire time with his self-funding, not taking big money stance. Sure, it worked in the primary. That's what he did during the primary. But now we're in a general election. Now he's going to change. There's not an honest bone in this man's body. He will tell you the truth only when it benefits him and him alone. You think he might actually hate Citizens United or McCutcheon? That's led to these, massive joint fundraising committees? No, of course not. No. The vast majority of Americans hate the idea of money in politics. And Trump, and Clinton have both given lip service to how terrible the system is without actually saying or hinting that they're going to actually end the system. Well, Hillary Clinton says, oh, well, it's bad, it's bad. Okay, and what are you going to do about it? Oh, well, maybe appoint a Supreme Court justice. Maybe. Great. Not exactly inspiring, right? But look, this is only after Bernie Sanders made it an issue. Now suddenly I wouldn't be surprised that after the convention, if Hillary Clinton gets the nomination, that we actually never hear any of them talk about the influence of money in politics ever again. Now I hope I'm wrong, but you can hear me now, quote me later. If it's Clinton versus Trump, money in politics will be ignored. Unless maybe we continue to make it the issue of issues and make sure that they know and that they hear that that's one of the most important issues that we have is the role of money in politics. And why do I say this? It's because we already know that Hillary Clinton has tapped big money donors like the Clooney's. And now Trump's got his own donors lined up. Here's one. Sanada Adzam, who's a former Trump International vice president, who's now a luxury real estate agent, told Politico that, quote, Trump has deep ties to so-called self-made entrepreneurial types in the new money class of donors. The type of people who are members of his Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach. Quote, they're self-made multi-billionaires and millionaires, and they're all willing to host fundraisers for it. Many of them are afraid that if they publicly support Donald Trump, it would be a target on their back. That changes since he's the presumptive nominee. And I want to note that he didn't actually say that to Politico. He said it to Bloomberg Politics. Apologize. One of them, who actually wasn't backing Trump before, but is now, is Terry Giles, who is a Texas mega millionaire who helped fund Ben Carson and Ted Cruz. Now, he said in an interview that he is reluctantly ready to back Donald Trump. Now, he said that he hadn't been a Trump supporter because he simply cannot be sure of who Trump is. He could be the best, or he could be the worst. Quote, but there is no question Donald Trump is a better choice than Hillary Clinton. So I will absolutely be doing everything I can to help the Republican presumptive nominee, who is now Donald Trump. And if you think he won't get more rich donors, you're deluding yourself. See, Donald Trump is not the anti-establishment candidate that you think he is. He's more than happy to take rich people's money and represent their interests as long as it also helps Donald Trump. Because that's who he is, and that's who he's always been.